going to be here to represent it. So fuck it, we'll do yours first. Which is why I just finished watching like 10 minutes ago. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2. Take 3 Wrestling Podcast coming to you on I don't know what. Well, it's nighttime, so it can be sunny. It's at nighttime here, Thursday night here in South Florida. I'm your host, Earnest Christian, alongside Mike Bernier and Mike Bernier, because Joe Lopez is running a little late. He'll be on a couple minutes. So just all the fans of Alonso Diaz, hang out. It's okay. He'll be here in a second. Michael, how you doing?
I'm all right. Craig's moving over.
Hi, Craig. Sexy beast.
I'm special guest joining hosting.
Yeah. I just finished Elimination Chamber finally. Literally about minutes when I went on here. Finished the entire show finally.
Oh, you finally finished the Limoncello Chamber?
Cello, baby. Not a bad show. Well, we got to review
it. Not the best Saudi Arabia show, but not the worst Elimination Chamber show.
Certainly wasn't better than the Crown Jewel last year. I tell you that. Crown Jewel was. That's for fucking sure. We'll get to that in a second. Another WWE star is gone, left the building.
We had it set up.
Cesaro gone. We'll discuss that in his future. And then, of course, I got a topic I want to discuss last couple of weeks that you guys are not looking forward to, but who gives a fuck what you guys want? Talk about wrestling TV.
A host and co-host that actually care about his other members of his staff.
I do. You guys do. I just want to get this topic in there. I want to jam it in. You know, I'm good at jamming things in like that. You know.
No.
She said that. She said that.
No, she didn't. She definitely didn't say it.
And also Wrestler of the Week nominations, which, by the way, I think this is the last week of the month before we get to February. Right.
Is that the noise that she made when you jammed it in too? Because it really just sounded like you were trying to have an orgasm on the show.
Anyway, let's get your topic first. We're going to do Joe's first, but Joe's not here to fucking discuss it. So we'll do a review of Elimination Chamber or Limoncello.
Yes, the Limoncello Chamber.
That's Saturday. That's Saudi Arabia.
Live from Riyadh. Let me bring the card up.
Riyadh. What's a Jeddah? That's what we're doing.
The Jedi?
The Jedi.
Okay.
The Jedi. Yeah. How was three count today, buddy? I know you want to do it again.
It was a good show. It was very entertaining.
Any word when Tim's coming back? I know Tim, aka God, but any idea when Tim's coming back full?
Whoa! Why are you? Whoa!
What?
You're a dick.
Why?
Nobody. No. How dare you try to tell us that Tim is the god of 3 Count Thursday?
No, we didn't say Tim. No, we said Tim is God. Period.
He's no god.
Oh, okay.
He's just.
That's like just your opinion, bro.
I think you're misconstruing it. We have a character on 3 Count that is, or not a character, but the god of 3 Count is there, and I can confirm to you, as someone who's been on the show for the last 2 weeks, that is truly God. It is not anyone playing the role of God.
Oh, okay. Wink, wink. Wink, wink.
I don't know what you're winking for. I'm telling you, it's really God.
All right, never mind. We're going to Joe's topic next because Joe's here.
What?
We were just going to do Mike's topic, but since your fucking short ass probably showed up.
Why wouldn't we do Mike's topic first? I don't understand.
Your topic's more apropos of what's going on right now in the moment.
Okay, sure. That's fine.
I mean, it's Cesaro. Our boy. He gone.
Yes.
Hold on. Is he really our boy? I think he's like mine and Joe's boy, and he's like your acquaintance.
I claimed him recently. I mean, I was invested in that that little push last year.
I'm sorry, I was the only one that tried to project him into winning the title. If you guys remember during my anyone but Roman phase. So yeah.
Are we still in that phase now, or you accept the fact that Roman Reigns is the greatest of all time?
No, and definitely not the greatest of all time. But I've come to learn the fact that they're going to try to find a way to give him like the title for like 7,000 days. So I just have to kind of deal with it.
Facts.
You could have worse things.
Could you though? Because I think anyone being champion more than like 150 days is too goddamn much.
In today's WWE, I would actually tend to agree. certain guys can. I think certain guys can sell the idea of dominance. He's one of the few guys that can actually. Okay, makes sense. It's Roman. You get it. But anybody else, that's like too much.
Okay, so you want to do my topic?
Let's do your topic, Joe. Hey, Joe, how you doing? Tell the listeners how you doing today. How's your day?
Doing good. I got a Rambo on my lap.
Hey, Rambo.
Say hi. Say hi. Not to me. You already said hi to me.
Adorable. All right.
Bro. Chill. So anyway, so my topic here, real simple. It was all over today. Apparently, Cesaro no longer working with the WWE. His contract expired. Vince McMahon pulled Tony Khan. They just did not renew the contract. I guess, though, in this case, they actually wanted to. But both sides could not come to a deal, a.k.a. Cesaro maybe finally got tired of doing absolutely fucking nothing in WWE. But my question to you guys is, where do you think the endeavors of the future are for one Claudio Castagnoli, a.k.a. Cesaro, a.k.a. don't put him in traffic in Connecticut because he would hate that, a.k.a. the most money-making man in Europe or whatever the fuck his nickname was. Where do you see Cesaro ending up in this? Are you surprised that his time in WWE has finally come to an end? Second, if you want to reflect at all on his time in WWE, or I know Mike and I are both long-term fans of his, but certainly third, there's a whole lot of dog action going on here right now. Just hold on a moment. Dude, calm down. Everybody calm down.
Am I surprised? No, based on what's happened in what you've been using the last couple of months.
I want to end also too on asking where you see him going from here.
I mean, the easy answer is AEW, but I mean their roster's fucking bloated as shit. I mean, I can see him playing out there, but again, I also see him if he goes to AEW. Will he'll be have the same amount of time on TV there as he had on WWE. So I don't know if his time be useful in AEW. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him there just because I'm a fan. But I'm surprised, no, because especially the tease they gave us last year. Going to WrestleMania, he beat Seth Rollins, all that. Then he gets that match against Roman a month after WrestleMania Backlash, and we're thinking, okay, well, he's not going to win the match, but he's at least in the picture. And then that's it. We got nothing else. We got like little appearances here and there, and no major feuds, none of that. And yeah, so I'm not surprised based on how things played out. Obviously, WWE wanted to keep him there. I mean, they were negotiating up to the final hour, and that didn't work out. If you believe the dirt sheets, of course. But I mean, it's sad because it feels like a miss here. It feels like a miss because I felt like last year, at least since I've been watching, the last 3 years, and you see this little pushing game last year, especially that there was space for him to not be a champion, at least be in the conversation, at least be in the picture. And we got like 2 months of that, and then that's it. And he was over too. He was way over. So very disappointed that things didn't work out. I was hoping he'd stay there long term, but I mean, like I said, he's the answer to AEW, but I don't know if he'd be used properly there either. So I don't know. I don't want to be wasted in it somewhere. So anyway, Mike, as your high,
I would say that I want to answer the question about where he's going first rather than, and I think that's to the Revolution ladder match and winning it. And as much as I don't want him to go to AEW because I do not want him to get lost in the shuffle,
exactly,
which I think is something that is 100% in play, even though that Cesaro is one of the more above average wrestlers in professional wrestling right now. Am I surprised that his time at WWE is up? Not necessarily. I'm more surprised that his contract expired and not that he was part of releases. I think that's more what I'm shocked about. I'm more surprised that his contract just straight up ran out and he decided that, I'm going to go gamble on myself and make the decision to go elsewhere. That's what's surprising in the whole situation. Not necessarily that his time in general is over.
Right. Until the AEW idiots that say, "Oh, well, he'll get a home. Here's a big deal." Keith Lee debuted 3 weeks ago. Since then, has been on TV since.
Well, he had his honeymoon. You can't really use Keith Lee as your measuring stick.
Saying though, like this idea that AEW will use this guy or use anybody and just you'll get adequate TV time. I'm not saying that he'll get used going forward, but it's 1 week here and then I don't see it 2-3 weeks, and then 1 week here, see 2-3 weeks. So
yeah, I think it's a little bit different for Claudio than Keith Lee personally. You have a couple of different options you can go with there. You can have him bring back Chris Hero. You can bring back the Kings of Wrestling. He can be a part of basically any division in the show. What I would say is if he ends up there, I'm okay with it, I guess. I'd much rather him go be in New Japan or go, wrestle somewhere crazy, out in WXW, Progress, something like that, New Japan, more than I would rather see him go to AEW. But I think, Cesaro has an opportunity to make some money. And who's to say that there isn't more of a discussion between Vince and Cesaro between now and whenever, and they just straight up resign him.
Right, you can't rule that out either. I mean, obviously there was some interest in him keep staying there. It wasn't like he was cut. I mean, the reports are that they were negotiating up until the final hour, and things didn't work out. And maybe Cesaro said, "You know what? Let me bet on myself going forward and see what happens." Or maybe, they come back to the table again in a month or 2 months, whatever it may be. So, Joe,
here's one, and Mike, I'm curious to see what you think about this. I've heard people...
Nobody. You don't know what Ring of Honor is? Shut up.
I know. I'm just.
And it's related to Ring of Honor, but it's not him going back to Ring of Honor itself. You know where I'm going with this, right, Mike?
Termius?
No. I'm thinking of him not going alone to AEW with somebody.
I mentioned that AEW needed a hero.
Yes.
You were muted. I don't think you heard me, but I said that maybe that we could get a return of one Chris Hero, and we could maybe potentially get 3, the Kings of Wrestling.
Posted that actually on social media.
Kings.
I saw that little tease out there.
Okay.
I mean, like, you don't understand because you've never actually probably seen them wrestle a match with each other.
I have not.
Like, they had a run in Ring of Honor circa 2010 or so where every match they had was absolutely fantastic. You had them versus the Briscoes. I think you had them versus the Young Bucks. You had them versus definitely the Motor City Machine Guns. Whole lot of fantastic talent, and they were just incredible, honestly. So imagining them, because I haven't seen Chris Hero in the ring now in about a year or two, whenever he was last in NXT.
Probably 2 to 2.5.
It's been a minute, right? So I don't know what he's looking like in the ring right now, but I know what Claudio's looking like. And at the end of the day, if they have even half the magic that they had back in 2010 when they were a team, seeing them get to mix it up with the likes of FTR and the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks and all the teams that AEW's got on its roster would actually be kind of awesome.
It's disappointing though because I can't speak about Cesaro's years before WWE, Ring Around and all that, but just from me coming in the last couple of years, he felt like a WWE guy. Like he feels like a guy. Okay, he feels like a great fit, a great character, and the fact that they couldn't even use him. I mean, he was obviously used well early on, but I'm talking about the last year or two, especially last year when he got that tease, during Mania season last year, that they couldn't. Make something work. Nothing stuck after that.
What would you say? And Ernest, this might be harder for you to answer because you don't have. I don't know how much of his WWE run you've seen. But Mike, maybe you can.
I only got to the bar recently because my youngest son, my oldest son, Eli, watches a lot of that 2016, 2017, 18 era a lot. So right. Through him learning about the bar and all that, I've only got,
Okay, so you'll have an answer for this, but Mike, you can answer this a little bit more thoroughly, I feel like, and I don't know if Craig is there, but maybe if he has an answer too, I can tell he's there. I see his arm, and you're high.
And he's high, both of you.
But if what would you say was his best run in WWE? Like, what was the closest thing to, oh, wow, Cesaro's actually getting over here, other than, like, maybe the recent time when they had him feuding with Roman? What other time do you think it was? Like, what's the best thing? Like, what will be his legacy in WWE? Is it as
I
someone
can tell you what the worst one was.
Huh?
I can tell you what the worst one was.
What?
The Real Americans.
Oh, God.
When was that?
Un-Americans. No, the Real
No.
Americans.
It was the Real Americans.
Right, with Jack Swagger.
Yes, Don't Tread on Me with We the People. Yeah.
That's good. Just on the surface, I didn't see that. It doesn't sound appealing.
To me, would be all his time with Sheamus, like either against him or as the bar.
I think my answer would be him like winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal with his elimination of Big Show, or the fact that he won like something in Saudi Arabia, right? Didn't he win one of the matches in Saudi Arabia?
That's just a waste of such amazing talent.
Oh, I agree with 100%. Like, I can't speak on his entire career, but I mean, the easy answer for me would be what the Seth feud and the Roman feud, obviously last year. But watching the stuff with the bar actually to me is fantastic. Also,
I mean, honestly, I loved back when he was tag teaming with Tyson Kidd. Like, their tag team was fantastic, honestly. And I feel like if Kidd hadn't gone out injured, like, they might be a more legendary team in WWE. Like, they might be more remembered than the bar is, honestly. But because their time was kind of cut short, that's just not the way it worked out, which is fair, Like, that's what happens. But I don't know. I feel like his overall WWE legacy, and I hate to say this because, like, I genuinely huge fan of Cesaro. Loved him since, those Ring of Honor days. Seen him wrestle at Chikara. Met him countless times. And by countless times, I mean twice. There's just a lot of Cesaro that I'm a big fan of. So it makes me sad to say it, but I feel like he's one of the bigger, almost was stories in WWE. Like, there were so many times where it seemed like they were going to pull the trigger, and maybe they even did pull the trigger, but nothing came out of the gun. Like, there was him returning the night after WrestleMania at that one Raw and being in like a 4-way match to become number one contender for the title. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like, that felt like it should have been a moment. There was when they teamed him, they had Paul Heyman being his manager. There was, when he feuded with Roman only like a year ago. There was when he had a lot of, this feels like it's going to be it. And then it never went anywhere. And like I think you alluded to this at least, Ernest, that like he had all of the things that you expect for the recipe for success in WWE. He had the size, he had the agility, he had the speed, he had all the things that you think Vince McMahon is looking for, but somehow it still just didn't work out. And the sad part is it feels like it never was going to.
And he was good both sides of the face. It was good as a heel, good as a face.
Right.
I mean, it's a miss. To me, it isn't even about him not winning the title. Because there's value in being in the picture.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that should have been in last week's Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. So, it's a miss for me, man.
So, I mean, I don't know. And I'm hoping he's one of the guys. I know AEW's got the bloated roster now. I know all of that. I don't disagree with any of that. But I want to see him in AEW. I'm not going to lie. As
an AEW mark, of course, I want to see him there. I just what I'm going to get once he gets to Tony Khan's graces. He's gonna be off on TV for 1 week and off for 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
Roster. I get it.
I mean, I don't know. It'd be interesting. I'd like me personally, if he did come into AEW and if he didn't come in with Hero instantly, I would have him feud with someone who actually is very familiar with Chris Hero. I'd have him feud with Eddie Kingston because I think it would kind of fit into what they do with Kingston anyway, where they have him fighting all these former WWE guys. So it would just kind of work out anyway.
Yeah, I will say though, look, I'm not happy Cody's gone from AEW. I know it's not really a Cody conversation, but I will say Cody not being there, it just opened up some space for potential things here. Like if
It opens up one space. It doesn't open up a lot of spaces.
but Cody, when he was there, he was one of the main guys that took a lot of TV time. So
He took a decent amount of TV time.
So you can utilize that space now with a Cesaro or whoever it may be, in that spot. Not saying to do what Cody did, but at least to juggle people into that. The point is they need to utilize the roster much more broadly, if you will. And again, Tony Khan for the fucking 20th time in the last year. You don't need fucking 10-minute matches every match be 10 minutes or longer. You don't have to. Sorry.
I don't know. I don't have any problems with any of that. It's interesting because they really are overloading the roster, but it is what it is. I think this is still a 2-3-year-old company now. It's still kind of going through growing pains. It's still kind of establishing itself. I think the roster that they have now is a lot closer to the roster that they wanted from day one, which is why the guys that they signed where it was hey, we need a roster that's full of people. Now some of them are easy to be all right, well, we're not going to re-sign you.
Right. The guys they had in 2019, the Peter Avalons and all those guys, for example, Joey
right.
name it, they were there. We need to fill a roster. But now since then, we've actually added not just a broad roster, but we added actually better talent. So now once the time comes up, when time to release time or contracts expire, those guys will be filtered out. Unfortunately for them, because there is actually better talent now, on their roster than in comparison to it was 2019.
Exactly.
And then a guy like Cesaro would be another great pickup for him. And
right.
Just properly, that's all.
Exactly.
So, Mike, anything else to add before we get to the next topic? I know Mike's falling asleep there a little bit. He's a little high.
No, I got 2.5 hours of sleep last night.
I know. Sorry. Okay, so let's get you right now for your topic because it is Elimination Chamber review.
Cello Chamber.
Cello.
Yeah, so we had a pretty good show on Saturday. I enjoyed some of it. I hated some of it, and other parts were just there.
Yeah.
So let's hop into it. First show was a pre-show match that saw Rey Mysterio with Dominic defeat The Miz via pinfall. Only thing that good happened out of this is that we're getting a Logan Paul match, even though I'm mad on Logan Paul wrestling.
At this point, I'm done bitching about celebrities in fucking WrestleMania. It's something they've been doing from day one, from the very first WrestleMania. So if you're a wrestling fan not bitching about this, you're an idiot because you clearly don't watch wrestling properly because since 1985 we've been doing this shit. Stop. Get used to it. It's part of the package. You just ignore it and move on to the next fucking match. Okay? I hate Logan Paul like everybody else does, but it is what it is.
And The Miz is awesome.
Oh, the man, dude. He is the man.
Oh shit! I was on my computer.
I love The Miz.
I'm a Miz fan. I'm a misfit.
He takes a lot of. I don't want to say shit from the company.
No, he takes a lot of shit.
He does.
From fans.
But you know what it is?
No. He takes a lot of shit from the company, not the fans.
Okay.
No, from the company. But he's marketed himself and branded himself.
The shitty matches, the shitty gimmicks, the shitty fucking.
But he's got to be making so much money that it doesn't matter. He's to me, he's like a future Hall of Famer.
Okay, that's a lot.
Ew.
Wait, Mike, real quick. Maybe I'm not seeing it. Maybe you guys can explain to me. From the company, what exactly is shit from the company? What do you mean by that? The way he's booked?
I mean, yeah, look, it's WrestleMania season end. We got no title picture for you. You're no title picture, but we're going to bring in celebrity, which is fine and all because it's the entertainment value you're getting out of it. But,
It's kind of shit that he's always had the celebrity partner.
Yes.
His one true real WrestleMania move by himself. He got a concussion, and The Rock came out and set up a match for a year later.
Okay, that makes sense. No, I can see.
Give him an IC title run with a new belt, but bring back the old belt.
He ain't getting it back. So
The Miz won our Take 3 Wrestling Intercontinental Championship tournament. So he's getting a lot there as it is anyway. But yeah, at that point I can see definitely. But it also speaks to something also too, that the company trusts him to do stuff with Bad Bunny, to do stuff with.
He's definitely he's a company man.
And
he's the kind of guy that's not going anywhere either.
And maybe he wants to do this. I guess. I mean, he's in a good spot here. Make a lot of money. He's 40 now. He's over 40 years old. So maybe his head now is more so looking at the grander picture.
He's literally living his dream.
Yeah,
100%. He never wanted to be a player. He just wanted to be a WWE superstar.
Dance with the Stars. I mean, made for success. So I don't know.
And but get 7,337 days of Roman Reigns champion. Miz ain't getting a title reign.
I don't think the Miz, from where I'm standing at, maybe you may think I'm wrong here. I know he had the title for about a week last year, but I never looked at the Miz as a world champion type. But as a mid card, like a top card, absolutely. That's not a bad thing. You need those guys to form your roster. You do, and the Miz is one of those guys. Some of my favorite wrestlers of all time are great mid carders. So
you're real Brad Armstrong fan, aren't you? There.
We ain't going that far. All right, next match, Mikey.
First match of the main show for the Universal Championship.
I miss Greg Hamilton.
The head of the table, the tribal chief, Mr. Ooh-ee-ooh-ah-ah, ting-tang, walla walla bang bang, Roman Reigns, defeated Bill Goldberg via technical submission in 5 minutes and 59 seconds. I said this on the 3-count show earlier tonight. That really felt like Old Yeller and Roman going to put him out, but missing the shot.
The match did his job. It did his job.
I don't think it did its job. I don't think that match was fucking necessary. I think
it wasn't necessary.
The feud was necessary. I mean, the only thing you can use for the feud is what the missed match from 2 years ago because of COVID. Other than that, we know
it's necessary because the fans.
Nobody gave a shit 2 years ago. Nobody gave a shit here.
Again, but because he's contractually obligated to do these matches in fucking Saudi Arabia, we know what we're getting.
Like the Santa Claus of the WWE.
We know there's a negative 42% chance of him actually beating Roman Reigns. Let's start there. He didn't win that match at all, ever. So we know what we're getting no matter what with Goldberg. Okay, it was a matter of putting a match that actually looked semi decent. And to Roman's credit, he.
I'm kind of overwatching Bruno San Martino.
That's probably wrong. I mean, it is what it was. I mean, it was a C match. I'll give it a C, but that's all it is for me.
I'll give it an I, incomplete, because there was no fucking reason for him to fucking have a 6-minute match when he had a 14-minute entrance.
Joe, what do you think of this match?
It was fine.
Did his job.
I don't have anything particularly special to say about it. It was there.
I go
Fabio Vega of this show.
Exactly. Yeah. When is the next Saudi show? Like in October, probably?
Who gives a shit?
Probably.
My point is, we'll see in October, Goldberg.
Probably not. That's when you'll get Stone Cold. All right, match number 3.
Nice team.
In the women's elimination chamber match. Oh, sorry, we're in Saudi Arabia. Lemon Cello chamber match, because that's what they call their torture chambers, the elimination chamber. I digress. It was Alexa Bliss versus Doudrop versus Liv Morgan versus the Almost Superhero versus Rhea Ripley. The match was won by this competitor, none other than the what? What
was that?
Fuck you, Alexa. Go home. That match was won by the EST of the PhD of the LSD of the Onomatopoeia, Bianca Belair.
It was a PMS.
15 minutes, 41 seconds. She never needed y'all at all.
Well, the heart of the match really was Alexa Bliss, really, but
I was actually surprised that Bianca won. I thought Alexa was going to take this.
Yeah, me too.
But I like it. I like the match overall. I thought there was actually a lot of really cool spots in it. There was some really good storytelling.
You know I love Bianca Belair. I love her. The only thing that bothers me, and I think it hit me this weekend for the like really more so than any time, is the over the top dramatization when she wins. Like I get she's happy, and I know it's all the show whatever, but it's just a bit much sometimes. Like bring it down a little bit, just a little bit.
I for one don't think that she should have won this match. I don't need another Bianca Belair big WrestleMania match after the match she had last year. This is no offense to her. I just don't need it. I think there's other people that could use this match more, including Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss, and Rhea Ripley. But
Look, do you think those people just mentioned? I'm not saying you're wrong about that. Do you think the people just mentioned Rhea, Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss, for example, and I agree, Alexa Bliss could be in the picture and should be in the picture maybe at some point, but are they ready right now to be in to I would say headline WrestleMania because they're not gonna be headlining at this point. As you learned tonight, Charlotte and Ronda doing night one, and of course obviously Brock and Roman doing night two. Are those girls ready to be in a big spot like that now, WrestleMania? Alexa, yes, I say, because we've obviously seen what she's done through the years. But so Rhea, obviously her title run was a little bit last year. Liv Morgan had a couple matches with Becky. She did okay, but I'm not sure if we can say she's someone that is ready to be in the main event picture for WrestleMania.
I would definitely say that she is an option because I think she's one of the better in-ring competitors right now. And I'm not saying that she's great. But yeah, I think we have to figure out if there's other women that we can use besides the same four in the main events, because obviously you have Sasha, obviously you have Ronda, obviously you have Charlotte and Becky. Bianca has been in the last two. Bayley, when she's healthy, will be another one. So you kind of have six like main event level women's wrestlers. I feel like you have to at least attempt to get somebody else. And I'm not going to say to that position, because saying that Liv Morgan's going to get to the position of Sasha Banks or Becky Lynch is probably inaccurate, but she can be good enough to have good matches and be a main event women's wrestler. And I think that's what we have to look at. It's not just being a main event talent. It's not saying, is Liv Morgan ever going to be on the level of a Roman Reigns? Right. Is she going to be one of the top 7 women wrestler in the company?
But the question I asked was, it wasn't necessarily about being a main event person or whatever it may is that is she ready to be in that spot at WrestleMania? That's the question. Like I can see Liv doing this, even winning a title in September. Nikki ASH did last year. So we can see that happen in September, whatever, random month here, random Raw here, whatever. It's WrestleMania we're talking about here. We're talking about the creme of the creme. Alexa, yes, I can see that. Rhea, obviously she did last year. So Rhea could do it too. So what you're saying is correct. You got to build these stars. But I also think that because of the way SummerSlam went last year with Bianca and Becky.
The exact reason why they don't need to have this match.
Well, they got to pay it off somehow. You can have that sitting there and then that's it. Okay, well, Becky won my 20 seconds and that.
You don't have to ever pay anything off. The fact that you think you do makes you think that they had to have that Roman Reigns Goldberg match because 2 years ago it got called off because of COVID. At the end of the day, like, I don't necessarily think that this has anything to do with, we have to have a payoff from something that happened 5 months ago. Like, at the end of the day, I don't necessarily know that I'm in love with this match. I would have rather have somebody.
A long time from that. They just started.
I know. Weird, right?
The thing is, Mike, I would agree with you if what transpired at SummerSlam did not happen.
I don't care if it happened or not. That match is not one that moves the needle for me. And the reason why it doesn't move the needle for me is because of, like, oh, great. It literally happened at SummerSlam. And man, I don't need to see them have a long match.
The thing is, now next question. is Bianca worthy of being a main event star now? Because that's what it counts. Because to me, it's more about Bianca's positioning moving forward. Is she now a main event? Is she now? Because to me, if you're not going to pay off this match some point down the road, then we just buried Bianca Belair just cause. And now there's nothing to solve that riddle. And now Bianca's back to just being a mid Carter, which we know damn well she's better than her talent alone is better than that.
But what do you really do here? Like, are you really having Bianca win at WrestleMania 2 years in a row, the title? Like, is that what we're building here?
But is that a bad thing at this point though? That's what I'm saying. I mean, I think what's happening now.
Title run
was now
run was lackluster. Her title run was not great.
No,
it was kind of mediocre at best.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm not necessarily all in on giving another title run to Bianca Belair. We haven't given Rhea Ripley one. Why are we giving her one?
Right.
Well, Rhea had one last year after she beat Asuka. So technically they're even right now. And no way, I'm not against Rhea getting it either. There's 2 belts here. We can
and technically we've already watched Bianca Belair have a main event match at WrestleMania.
It was a fantastic match too.
Yeah, and then her title run was fucking hot garbage. And that might be disrespectful to hot garbage.
I mean, outside the Bayley feud, yeah, I was. No, I will agree with this. It was underwhelming. That I agree with you on that. It was underwhelming.
Then why are we rushing to put her right back in the same spot 365 days later?
I feel like they've built more of a like redemption storyline than they actually have. Like, I think that they think this is some comeuppance of, she lost in 30 seconds at SummerSlam and she's had to build all this way back up and stuff. And they didn't actually pay through with that storyline. She kind of lost at SummerSlam and then did a whole lot of nothing. And like you said, it was kind of like in the middle of the card doing nothing until she won the Elimination Chamber. Like, she's really kind of just been there until she needs to have that one big moment. And now all of a sudden it's like, I'm going to get my comeuppance for SummerSlam. It's like, but that could have been built over the last like 6 months or 8 months or however long it's been. That could have actually really been put together as a great story. And it just wasn't.
No, that's what you're saying there. I mean, it had, after SummerSlam for 2 months straight where she wasn't, doing, wrestling Becky, at Crown Jewel, in a triple threat match, which was an underwhelming match also too. We all discussed on the podcast, whatnot. I agree with you saying. It's just that, again, if she didn't lose the way she did in SummerSlam, I wouldn't feel this way. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think if she would have gotten screwed over and lost the title after like a 12-minute match, I would care more about this match. At the end of the day, I give no fucks about this match.
Issue is the match itself.
What?
Your issue right now is the match itself. It's not Bianca necessarily. It's the match itself between Bianca and Becky.
I'll say it's a combo draw.
Okay.
I don't want to watch Bianca in another major WrestleMania match. And I necessarily don't love the fact that this is a, quote, redemption story for her losing in 37 seconds. I truly believe that if she lost 30 seconds.
So again?
Maybe I'm wrong that it's not a redemption story, but it feels like that's what they're going for now.
That's the only angle you have. If you lose in 20 seconds,
that's the only angle you have, as far as I'm concerned.
What use this one? That's the only one that works, in my opinion. You're right, Joe. So we'll see how. Go ahead, Fred.
I think. They got 6 weeks or whatever to build it up. Yes, you do the whole redemption. You beat me, blah, 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 back and forth. I think she loses, though. And I think what she needs for her, what's her name? Bianca.
Mm-hmm.
And with Sasha Banks coming back sometime soon, right? I think what the women's division needs is a really good feud. Not that Nikki Ash, Rhea Ripley thing. That was okay. You ended the tag team, but like a real, like, I hate you feud between two individuals that don't involve a title.
We kind of have, without the title you said, without the title.
Yes, without a title. Keep the belt on Becky. You know, let Becky be the woman's, big thing on Raw. And
But you kind of had that with Naomi and what's her face? Fucking,
Sonya Deville.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
talking with matches. I mean,
That's very easily filled.
the whole
That's
thing.
Bianca Belair and Bayley whenever Bayley comes back.
But I think putting her in something with Sasha will help her get, to that next level.
Not two faces. Which one are you turning heel?
Maybe okay. So
You always turn Sasha heel. She's so much better as a heel.
maybe it's time to turn Bianca heel then, and she has done it before in NXT. So it's not like it's something we have not seen before.
I mean, was she really a heel in NXT? Because myself and Joe have been to NXT shows. Looks like pizza.
Mexican pizza, right? Mexican pizza.
And literally, they're like, the entire crowd is still singing her entrance song.
Okay.
As heel. I don't think she's really done a heel role.
No.
I'm not necessarily all in on a heel role being for her because of the way that she celebrates her wins and being so over dramatic. I don't think that
right.
I don't know that her character, if you change that perception of her, I don't think it helps her character.
Yeah, but they did it with Bayley. Bayley was all happy, joyful. Happy, joy,
Okay.
joy.
Bayley wasn't running
And then you
around.
turn her into a bitch.
Bayley wasn't running around like, oh my God, I just won the world title when she beat Nikki Ash in a 7-minute match on a random episode of Monday Night Raw like Bianca Belair was.
No, Bayley, and also Bayley, the way they said with Bayley was actually perfect. They kind of made it subtle, and every week she, get pissed the crowd, and before you knew it, she changed her haircut and all that, and then, rest history.
Yeah. I just think that this match just doesn't. It just doesn't.
I mean, that's clear. It's quite clear. I'm a fan of this, and this is probably a topic we could probably dive into even more down the road because, I look at Bianca as someone who's one of the top women in the company, and if obviously there's some different opinion on that, which you could down the road we can probably do a little topic on that, Bianca with how to book her going forward beyond WrestleMania and all that. So anyway, next match.
Speaking of,
Wait. Can I say one thing?
Go ahead.
I think it's an overall issue that this WrestleMania card is having right now for me.
Okay.
Which is, I look forward every year to WrestleMania to getting some matches and feuds and stuff that are new, that are, special. There's something special about them. Mm-hmm. And this year so far, it's a lot of matches we've already seen.
Yeah. No, that's correct. We've seen Brock and Roman not even 4 months ago. It was now as this type of title. So it is. I mean, we've seen Ronda against Charlotte, in some capacity in the last couple of years. So no, I'm with you. I mean, it doesn't feel special, but this is why it's important building stars.
Yep. Next up, we talked about the Sonya Deville and Naomi feud. It was a tag match between Ronda Rousey and Naomi, and then Sonya Deville and Charlotte Flair. It was victorious by the faces. Ronda Rousey wore a gi and had one arm tied behind her back.
I mean, it was that match was there.
That apparently was the gi she was born in.
Oh God.
Anybody have anything on this, or are we just moving on?
We can just move on to the next match. I mean, it was just there. It's getting into the WrestleMania match. So
I hope it's not the end of the Naomi and Sonya Deville feud because
I'm enjoying that feud.
They're fighting at Mania for sure.
Yeah.
So
that's the third women's match.
Hopefully Naomi's back in the main event picture. Hopefully, we'll see.
In a match where Madcap Moss left a quarter of his brain laying on the mats of Saudi Arabia, it is thru getting the win over Madcap Moss in 9 minutes even. Drew versus Happy Corbin, obviously the route we're going to at Mania.
Yeah.
Madcap Moss leaving half of his brain on some floors in Saudi Arabia, though. Nice touch.
Yeah, I mean You never know when you're going to see a beheading in Saudi Arabia. So.
Ooh. I mean, I like Drew. I like Corbin. I'm not excited about the match at WrestleMania. Yeah, I was thinking maybe Drew being the top picture, by around this
I'm
time.
more excited for that match than I am Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch.
Well, that's fine. I mean, hey.
I just think that Drew McIntyre in ring is one of the better in ring precision guys in wrestling, and if there's anyone that can get a good to great match out of Baron Corbin, it's Drew McIntyre.
Well, I'm a big Drew guy, so I'm but I just think that I'm not excited. But I think most of the fact that I was hoping to see Drew in the top picture by this time, and this is obviously going to be just a filler match in comparison to what we're going to be getting at Mania. So that's all.
Yeah.
So what if
my prediction was actually when we had the draft back in October was that Drew and Roman at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting Drew and Corbin, which Corbin's great, obviously, but it's just not what I thought I was going to get. But yeah.
Or finish chewing. Or we rebrand Drew McIntyre as a yodeling, like he lives in the mountains, and he wears all like bright green, and he's Mountain Drew.
Moving on. Next one. Thanks, man. You are the worst. Oh, God.
12 minutes, 14 seconds. Becky Lynch punches her ticket to WrestleMania as she defeats WWE Hall of Famer Lita.
This is a fun match.
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
It's probably the best match on the show.
Like if you use Lita the way you use Goldberg, if not even more common, like a couple times a year, I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
She has a place here.
Oh,
I like to see some of the women from yesteryear have some, Trish Stratus time, I mean, shit like that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought it was a good match. It wasn't great. I think there were parts where it could have been better. But yeah, no, those two really worked their butts off. And it seemed like it was one of the better matches of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Royal Rumble, was that Lita's first match in years?
I feel like she popped up at like last year's Royal Rumble too, or some shit.
I remember thinking that last year.
I don't know.
I think that, or she had a match with Trish Stratus or something.
She did have a match with Trish.
It was her and Trish versus.
Was that SummerSlam?
How recent was that? That was the question.
2 years,
maybe 3.
Well, you were there 3 years ago, so and Trish wrestled Charlotte that night.
Did we see Lita in Toronto?
No, I remember seeing Trish against Charlotte that night though, and you guys were there.
Hold on, this is easy.
Google's friend.
Yeah, just go to cagematch.net and look up Lita. This is easy. Oh shit, I hit the wrong thing. My fingers are too fat. All right, continue.
You got the mic problem. Sausage fingers. No, but I enjoyed the match. There's no surprises here. Although, I mean, a couple spots, you think, oh, Lita can pull this off. Maybe check out the WrestleMania picture a little bit for the women's division. But no, it's not going to happen. Now, I think the question is now, what's next for Lita? Because she left a little cryptic message on, saying that if this is my last match, for whatever, then it's been great, whatever. Do you see her involved still at Mania? That's the question. I hope you see her Mania again. Just to, because why would you use her at this point now and not to use her at WrestleMania? Makes no sense.
I think at this point she doesn't need WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Right, maybe I'm saying that maybe her goal was to have a Mania match, so maybe have a little small feud here or something going on, and just to have, you got time, you got two days to fill matches, man.
I feel like that's just not where things are going with that. I think she was just a Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
This
is Goldberg on the female side.
Huh?
This is basically Goldberg on the female side.
Yeah, exactly. Like they always break out 90s talents for these shows, and I think that's where she fits in.
Did you get an answer on that, Joe, by the way? Sure.
No.
Okay.
It looks like she was in a 10-woman tag on Raw in 2018.
So basically, 4 years, basically. 4-ish.
It looks like, I don't know. I might be looking at the wrong thing.
Okay. We'll figure it out later. All right, Mike, next one.
We had a supposed tag match where the Usos jumped the Viking Raiders. Why would you send both teams to Saudi Arabia to never have this?
Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it's a waste of space on a very large plane.
Oh, they'll be wrestling at WrestleMania.
They'll be involved in some kind of multi-man match.
I call that.
Yeah, when you guys say that a couple weeks ago on the show that we can see a fail 4-way type of shit, whatever.
They do every year. There's always one of those on.
Yeah. Like, I can see that happening for the Raw. Was it Raw titles? Yeah, it's SmackDown titles, right? SmackDown titles.
Yeah.
Right. I can see that happening. Well, it wasn't a match, so fuck it. Next one.
In our main event, 14 minutes 56 seconds. Brock Lesnar punches his ticket to champion versus champion as he defeats Riddle, AJ Styles, Austin Theory, Seth Frickin' Rollins, and then the champion Bobby Lashley, who we know has, quote, entered concussion protocol, aka shoulder surgery. Maybe we should stop letting people of Bobby Lashley's side take German suplexes.
Yeah. So obviously what happened in the match, going through the pod, but that was a work, obviously.
No shit.
Right, just making sure. Because I was at work when the match happened. Lawrence sent me in text. I think he had a concussion. I don't know if it's real or not. I go, and at the time I wasn't sure. I wasn't aware of Bobby Lashley's injuries post Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, okay. And then I watched the match live for the first time. Yeah. I mean, Austin Theory was fun. He was fun in that match. I thought he did a very good job. I thought he got a lot of good heat. I thought he fucking annoyed Brock. To me, outside of Brock winning, he was the highlight of the match. Honestly, it was Austin Theory.
How did you feel about Brock just kind of beating everybody in that match?
No, I'm okay with it because we're setting up for two monsters in WrestleMania.
But you think it's okay that they basically sacrificed the entirety of everybody to set that up?
I mean, I don't know if I call it sacrificing because, like, I think we knew we were getting here at some point. Like, if Bobby was healthy, maybe that goes differently because Bobby is obviously the other monster in that match. But there was no surprises here, really, especially when we know about Bobby, what happened to Bobby, post Limoncello, So no surprises there. It is what it is. I'm okay with Brock being a monster and Brock being a babyface monster, in fact, and Brock's having a fucking good time. You saw him posing with fans after the match on both sides of the aisle. Like, wow. It's like, yeah, like, what? This is Brock Lesnar? This is great. I mean, it kind of feels like this could be his last run, too. Also, a really major run because he's kind of like, I'm not saying it is the case, but, the vibe you get, him having so much fun and just, like, taking the moments in, kind of feels like has that like last run vibe. I'll be honest with you, I see a scenario of him winning on WrestleMania.
Yeah, I do too.
In fact, I think the odds of him winning WrestleMania are actually a lot higher than you realize.
No, I actually agree with you.
So, other than that, it's about that. I mean, that to me, it was obviously Brock's dominance, and then beyond that, it's Austin Theory. I thought, look, he's not a main event guy. But he's a guy like the same way you could use Cesaro for the last year. Austin Theory, you could use him in those little, in the mix kind of thing, top of the mid card, and sometimes flirt with the title. Sometimes he fits.
Yeah, on the.
What was that? What?
All of it.
Match itself, I mean.
Man.
Dude, you're fucking snoring as he's talking about Austin Theory.
Man. That's what Austin Theory does. He makes you go to sleep.
Not a fan, huh?
I wasn't a fan of his in Evolve.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I wasn't a fan of his in NXT. I wasn't a fan of him in the bioluminescent brand. I'm sorry. I'm not Joe. I'm not gay. His abs don't do anything for me.
There.
Well, Joe's a fan. Joe's a stan, actually, probably.
Joe's a fan.
Joe's a stan.
So, I mean, I'm sorry. He is the equivalent of, like, Mandy Rose to the male fans.
Ooh. Wow, that's a diss.
I meant from a look perspective.
Ooh. Wow.
I mean, what did you think he was having 5-star matches?
No. I'm not saying this guy's a fucking, just put the fucking rocket ship on this guy. I'm not saying he's that guy. He's definitely a good mid-card guy. I don't see him more than that, but he has a fun gimmick. It's
yeah, but they've given him this quote Vince McMahon rub and have turned him into fucking Drew McIntyre the first time with the Chosen One gimmick all over again.
It's fun. And he had a couple good spots in the match.
But it's not fun. The fucking golden egg and the hide and seek. And oh my god, you need to do Vince McMahon proud by taking all these selfies before I wrestle him. No. Fucking retarded.
Oh well.
I'm over the selfie gimmick. If I wanted selfies, I'd ask for you to bring back Tyler Breeze.
I will say this much though. I will say that it will get old at some point. Like at some point, I will say by middle of the year, change up a little bit. And I will agree with you on that. But in terms of the grade of the show, I give it like a B- because it did its job. I mean, that matches that were good were decent. Obviously, the ones that were bad were really bad. But I thought the show did its job for the most part, and it basically this is the show to move forward to get into Mania. Because now we got 7 weeks of build between now and WrestleMania. So B-.
Then I'll give it a solid C.
Okay. Joe?
Yeah, I guess about the same.
Which one? C?
Yeah.
There was some misses there, but
I don't even know that there were misses as much as it just didn't feel like super important, like it didn't feel like they gave us the setup for the Lesnar and Roman title versus title, but I don't know that match actually needed that.
That show would have been just fine had it taken place in
Philadelphia,
New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. If Bobby was healthy in this match, did it result?
He wins.
Okay.
I said it on 3 Count earlier that I felt that once they found out that Bobby was a no-go, they made the decision to go title for title because it was just an easier thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that it now saves you from having to rush the title onto somebody else on the Raw roster and then rush a title match. It just makes it easier. It makes it safer. It makes it the safer play, especially when they found out that Bobby was not going to be able to defend it. I just think that it was Brock or Bobby were the only two that had a legitimate chance of defending the title coming out of this show at Mania. And when Bobby goes down, I think it's so much easier just to, because now that's an extra thing that you can put on attached to that match to make it even bigger.
I don't think Bobby getting hurt too, especially took the wind to the sails or everything.
It definitely didn't help.
No. So, alrighty. Let's bring us home my topic here to end the show. And mine's really simple. I've been, going through a little bit of a situation where I have not watched any week-to-week wrestling over the course of the last 2 months. And I've noticed, one of the habits I've noticed in 3 years of watching the current product is that, especially when football's back in the fall, and then you have football, you got baseball playoffs, you have the NBA's back, all that. I have a hard time keeping up with the week-to-week stuff. And it's gotten worse and worse every year. Like, I know it's around, say, Survivor Series area, November, December especially. I have a hard time keeping up with the week-to-week product. And to me, it's like one of those things where, well, can you consider yourself a diehard wrestling fan if you don't watch it week to week every week like that? And I'm like, I don't know, because this is something that Jim and I talk about a lot too. Here's a theory. His thing is this: like, if I don't watch a Raw, a Dynamite, or a SmackDown within 24 hours, it's out of sight, out of mind. I don't worry about it anymore. I don't watch it within 24 hours. It's gone. I'm not going back to watching it again. And I started embracing that theory actually 2 months ago. Once I started like 2 and 3 days away from the event, there's no point going back and watching it because it's just you have more and more to watch. So my question is this, and it's probably gonna open up a bigger topic here. Hopefully, is it possible to still be an informed wrestling fan by not watching the weekly product every single week on a rotated basis?
I mean, I obviously think that you cannot watch every week and still know what's going on and be informative of what's going on based off of what's available to you via clips on YouTube, written up articles that you can read on PW Insider, detailed reports on what happened on shows. I haven't watched an episode of Monday Night Raw in probably 10 weeks.
And that shocks me. I don't know why. That shocks me when you said that to me last week.
That's what happens when you work Monday nights, and then you wake up Tuesday morning, and the last thing you want to do is watch pro wrestling from the night before.
Right.
You'd rather sleep. You'd rather do whatever. You'd rather watch a different show, catch up on reality TV or other TV series that you watch. I just I'm not in love with having to watch because of what's available to you elsewhere to still know what's going on.
Right. Do you ever feel, well, you and I are obviously major sports fans outside wrestling. Do you have an issue with, like, baseball's on, football's on in the fall, especially, that gets in the way of potentially watching wrestling shows?
The only time that it does, and this is me, is the World Series.
October, right. I think you said October.
A random game on a Sunday, like Sunday Night Football, it's like, oh, but it's going up against a premium live event, which it never will because of the Peacock stuff. Because that'd be stupid to go up against yourself. Mm-hmm. Even if it did, like, oh, we have to move it to Saturday. Okay, fine. Oh, we have to do, you're going up against Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football instead. I'm going to take my chances going up against Sunday Night Football.
Right. No, I have that issue. To me, October, November, and December especially, and not just watching sports, but even you and I are in the content business. We carry content on top of that too. We content football content, basketball content, maybe. So on top of everything else, I still want to watch what people talk about too, the sport. So that to me gets in the way also of keeping up the week to week. Now, that being said, the WWE does a fantastic job of placement. They place their products to where you have to know what's going on. Like, you know what's going on by YouTube, you know what's going on by Instagram, whatever it may be. AEW, not so much. But to their defense here, I think mainly because they want you to watch Dynamite because they need those numbers. In other words, USA needs WWE, not the way around. AEW needs TNT / TBS. And that's the difference here too. So, but that's why if I prioritize one show more than the other, I probably prioritize Dynamite more because Dynamite is the show I feel like I have to watch because I literally don't know what's going on because they don't do a good job of actually placement on all the feuds going on the YouTube page. Like, per show, per Dynamite episode, they might put 1, maybe 3 clips tops from the show, and that's it. On the feuds, and that's it. Hi, buddy. Come here. Oh, you crying? All right. It's hi, Uncle Mike. Uncle Mike's high right now. We almost did it. But they do a better job of placement with their product than AEW does. But I think that's also by design because of their situation. WWE is a 40+ year company that has everybody by the balls. AEW company.
I feel like your question's dumb. And it's only in the wording of your question. Like,
yeah.
I see the idea that you're going for, because you're asking a question that the answer is yes. Yes, you can factually follow along with any wrestling company you want today without actually watching any of it. It's how I follow New Japan. I can't tell you the last time, other than a couple of the Wrestle Kingdom matches, that I actually watched anything from New Japan, but I can tell you what's going on in New Japan. I can tell you who's feuding with who. I can tell you who the champions are. I can tell you who's coming up in the New Japan Cup, all that kind of stuff. But I haven't actually made time to sit down and watch much New Japan because I just don't have the time for it. That said, like, you really can, like, if you want to watch if you right, like I think Mike said it before, right? Like, I know what's going on Raw. I can't say the last time I actually watched an episode of Raw. You know, I watch NXT because I'm usually doing something where I can easily have NXT on Tuesday nights anyway. Otherwise, I wouldn't go back and watch it if I missed it. Like, that's honestly just not what I would end up doing.
I gave up NXT months ago just because it's hard to fit it into my schedule because of everything else going on.
But so I think that the better question is, and I think this is where it's interesting to me, because look, we've all were kids at one point watching wrestling before the internet was a big deal and all that. So I think the better question is just simply, was it more fun when you actually like had to watch the TV show every single week in order to know what was going on versus being able to just read it on the internet, being able to just see clips and stuff like that? Like, which version of being a fan is more fun?
Well, it's hard to tell because, you know, when I watched back then, I was 17, 18, 19 years old versus now I'm 41, turning 42, you know, so it's different priorities and all that and headspace. I mean, I don't know how I would be at 18, 19 in 2022. You know what I'm saying? It'd be a little different. Like, having all this content to watch, and it's really overwhelming, honestly, you know, but to me, it's like, okay, so the reason I brought the question too, especially, is that with WWE, because they are so good with the product placement that I haven't watched a Raw SmackDown in months, and yet I know what's going on. In AEW, it's been about 7 weeks since I watched Dynamite. I'm actually lost now.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I'm actually lost now. Like, I know the MJF CM Punk feud. I obviously I know what's going on now with how the card fill up for Revolution. So you're seeing the card fill up, but I don't know how we got here to some degree. So now I have this. Should I just watch the last 7 episodes now to see how we got here?
Right.
Because they're not doing that. They're not placing that well on social media to say, okay, well, they do little clips and that's it though. But the clips aren't detailed enough to know what's going on. Yeah, Buddy Murphy debuted this week on Dynamite. Yes, but beyond that, what else happened on the show that's important? Adam Cole's in the title match against Hangman Page. How did we get there? I don't know how we got there. I don't know. Legitimately don't know how we got there. So that's the thing. That's why I feel like it's for WWE. It's not necessary because they do one premium live event a month, you know. So, and they do a good job of telling you how we got here. AEW, one pay-per-view every season. You have to kind of keep up with AEW a little more than WWE.
Yeah.
That's my larger point, I think. So maybe if I worded the question a little better, I'm probably saying that is a priority to watch AEW or WWE. That's right. The question. But, you know, I mean, it's one of those things where it speaks of a bigger thing where we're at as a society, is that we are now in an era where there is so much content between wrestling, between sports, podcasts, video, reality TV, you name it. There's so much content, you know, poker streams, you know, so much content. So, I mean, it's going to be somewhat hard, but to the WWE's credit, they do a good job of making sure you don't feel left out. AEW, not so much, but again, that's by design because they need those numbers for Turner. So
fair.
Yeah, Mike, anyone to add?
Yeah.
All right. Rest of the week. Can we get going?
Oop, hold on, I gotta add my spreadsheet. I got a spreadsheet up. Hold on. You guys can start the segment.
All right. So should I go ahead and tell you my number one selection?
Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. You can start. I got it. We're good.
I'm gonna go Lita. Great job.
Ernest takes the slam dunk of not slam dunks and taking Lita. I will take the slam dunk of the week. Give me the new WWE champion. Give me Bjork Lesnarson.
Joe.
Didn't Sammy Guevara do something this week?
You see what I'm saying? You see what I mean? That's what I'm talking about.
I didn't watch Dynamite.
I swear to God, he retained his title against.
Every week, dude. He's so good.
Yeah, no, that might have been last Wednesday. I don't know. I'm not gonna nominate him if I can't remember. I don't know. Give me Roman.
Okay. Second one for me. I'm gonna go ahead and take. She retained her women's championship, Raw Women's Championship. That's Becky Lynch.
Give me the new IWGP United States champion, Sonata.
Ah, okay.
Really?
Yep.
I love that. That is awesome. All right. Well, they won that Battle Royal last night. That's a big deal, right? So give me Red Dragon.
And finally, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll make a clean sweep here. Limoncello, what do we call it? Austin
Cello Chamber.
I'm pissed bike off here. Austin Theory. For a job well done on that spot.
I am gonna go with this man. Oh no, we're gonna go with the new Intercontinental Champion, Sami Zayn.
Oh, that's right. He won the match on SmackDown last week. That was pre-taped.
Yeah, that was an awesome match, though.
I missed that. I gotta watch it. One more time for you, brother.
I swear to God, he did something. Sammy Guevara.
Yeah,
he's hot.
We'll assume that we'll assume so.
All right, so that is the nominees for the month of February. As we did in the month of January, we're going to take all of these names. We'll put them into a big power rankings of the top 25, and then we'll update through 2 months of time here. So you guys start getting me your results in before the end of next week.
Sounds good to me. Any final thoughts we get going? Great show this week as always. Albeit a little sleepy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed. It's fucking 12:40, and I've slept for 3 hours in the last 2 days. So
see you work tomorrow, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, Joe. Anything you want to add before we get going? Lalo Diaz.
My life is going to be a really interesting book one day.
Shit. I've only known you a couple of years, and damn. Just saying. Follow Mike on Twitter. They call me Burn, BERN. Follow J-Lo. Joe on Twitter at Sugar J-Lo. I'm on Twitter at each7 to take them at thru wrestling on Twitter as well, too. Earnestly Podcast Network, all that. Fellas, good show. I'll see you next week.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Later.
Bye.
Bye.